Did you know that in the very first years of life, your baby's brain will actually double in size, forming over 1 million new neural connections every single second? It's the most rapid and important period of neurological development that your child will ever experience. But here's the challenge. Most conventional pediatric care only looks at whether babies hit broad milestones, so rolling over, sitting up, crawling, without ever asking the deeper question of whether their nervous system is truly functioning the way it should. Now, milestones matter, yes, but there's a much bigger story behind them that parents deserve to know. This video is for moms and dads in the thick of that first year. Maybe you've noticed struggles with feeding, sleeping, or development, or maybe you simply want to make sure that your child has the strongest foundation possible from the very beginning. Together, we're going to look at why on-time milestones don't always tell the full story, how early stressors can shape your baby's nervous system for decades to come, and how to recognize when your child may need extra support during this critical window. The Harvard Center on the Developing Child tells us that the first year is when neuroplasticity, or your baby's ability to adapt and form new brain connections, is at its absolute peak. In those 12 short months, the brain is building millions of new synapses, laying down the architecture that's going to influence health, learning, and development for a lifetime. And yet, every day in pediatric offices, parents bring up concerns, feeding struggles, sleep issues, excessive crying, quirky development patterns, and too often they're told they're going to grow out of it, or let's wait and see. The problem with that approach is that it overlooks this critical window when the nervous system is most adaptable and gentle support can make the biggest impact. A baby may technically pass their developmental screening while silently they're compensating through tension patterns, through asymmetrical movements, or maybe they're even skipping important stages altogether. Things that can quietly shape their trajectory for years to come. Every early milestone carries hidden neurological significance that most parents are really never told about. Feeding, for example, isn't just about nutrition, it's actually the very first neurological exam. Effective feeding requires precise coordination of the cranial nerves, alignment through the upper neurospinal system, and seamless timing between the nervous system and muscles. So when challenges show up, like a shallow latch, frequent popping off, gasping during feeds, or a baby who becomes overly exhausted while eating, these are often early signs the nervous system needs support. A few months later, as head control develops between 8 and 12 weeks, we gain insight into the health of the cervical spine and the deep neck muscles. Babies who constantly turn their head to one side or who struggle with tummy time may already be showing signs of early neurological dysfunction that are easy to miss if you're only checking milestone boxes. And perhaps the most important milestone of all is crawling. So around 7 to 10 months, crawling develops cross-pattern movements. So right arm with left leg, left arm with right leg, which stimulates growth of the corpus callosum. This is the bridge between the two halves of the brain. This is foundational for later abilities like walking, reading, coordination, and even emotional regulation. Skipping or rushing through crawling can leave lasting gaps in neurological development. So why do so many babies struggle with these milestones? Often it comes down to what we call the perfect storm, which is an accumulation of stressors that overwhelm a baby's developing nervous system, creating patterns of dysfunction that can persist long after the initial stress is gone. Prenatally, this storm may begin with maternal stress that affects fetal brain development. Then comes birth interventions like inductions, forceps, vacuum extraction, C-sections, prolonged labor, or even malpositioning, all of which can strain a baby's head and neck. And then after birth, Stressors like disrupted sleep, constant overstimulation, early antibiotics, and ongoing feeding challenges add to the load, pushing babies into what we call sympathetic dominance or fight or flight mode, where their system gets stuck in survival instead of growth. This is also where conventional medicine often misses the mark. A pediatrician may check the box that your baby rolled over at 6 months, but they're not looking at whether that roll was symmetrical, was it coordinated, or built on strong neurological foundation. Subluxation and dysautonomia, neurological interference and imbalance from the perfect storm, are rarely assessed. Yet they can profoundly affect how well a baby eats, sleeps, develops, and regulates their emotions and their behavior. That's why we take a different approach. At E320 Chiropractic, we use insight scanning technology to gently and non-invasively assess your baby's nervous system. Now, these scans measure heart rate variability, they measure muscle tension and temperature regulation, giving us an objective look at how well your baby is adapting to stress. In healthy infants, we see balanced, symmetrical patterns. In stressed or struggling infants, we often see patterns that tell us exactly where the nervous system needs help. So rather than waiting for problems to become obvious or hoping a child just kind of outgrows their struggle, our goal is to support the nervous system function right from the start, during this window when neuroplasticity is at its peak and the brain is most able to adapt. That way your child has the strongest foundation possible, setting the stage for healthy development, not just in the first year of life, but for decades to come. So if your mom or dad gut is telling you that something with feeding, sleeping, or development just isn't adding up, trust that instinct. You know your baby better than anyone else. And if what you want most is to give your child the strongest neurological foundation from the very beginning, now is the time to take that step. Click the link in our bio to learn more about how neurological development shapes your baby's health and how we can support your family during this most important year of life.